So, studying for tests, obviously, you got to start early. There's no such thing as cramming for a test the day before. It just doesn't work. Ask anybody. Here's one thing you got to ask yourself. Has it been working? Has it been working? And the reality is, when I say, I cram, probably not. Probably not, okay? So start studying early. Keep your eye on the prize. What is the prize? It's whatever you set the goal for. You got to focus on that. Because, what if I need to study tonight, but someone says, hey, let's go to a movie or something. When you dedicate this time to study, you go, okay, I'm going to go to the movie. You got to focus on what your goal is. Your goal is that grade or whatever it may be, okay? So keep your eye on the prize. Complete the study guide if they give you a study guide. The study guides are like maps. It's going to tell you how to do it. If they don't give you a study guide, create your own. Create your own. So review your notes, review the book chapters, predict possible questions they're going to ask you, and look at those things. Quiz yourself. I see many people using flashcards now, and I promise you, the people who don't use it and start using it, their grades go up dramatically. I promise you that. The next thing is know the format of the test. A lot of times the professor will tell you what the test is going to be, like multiple choice, true, false, short answers, short essays. Know the format. It makes it a lot easier. It's like when you're taking, if you ever go to graduate school, you take the GRE. The most important thing about the GRE is not necessarily studying for it. The most important thing is how they do it, how you're supposed to take it, because that just takes a lot of effort for you to think about it, all this anticipation and this negative energy going, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen next? When you already know it, how it's going to be given to you, it makes it so much easier. So know the format of the test. Ask questions well in advance of the test. Do not ask 5 minutes before the test starts when the professor walks in. Don't say, hey, I need help on this question, I don't get it. They're just going to say, man, 5 minutes before the test, come on. You had weeks to do this, so they're probably not going to be too helpful. All right? Go to review sessions. I know you guys do that. You go to review sessions. That is so helpful. So helpful to with your peers to see what's going on. Review sessions are critical. Have this, but you already know this. Go to the tutoring center. We've got great tutors here. I mean, you just got such good tutors here. You'd be crazy not to take advantage of that. Okay, you'd be crazy to. If you're having problems, talk to the professor. That is what they're here for. So if you're having problems, the tutors don't know what's going on in terms of what the professor wants, go talk to the professor. This is Shadow State. It's an open door policy here. So just go talk to them, see what's going on. Here's something that is hard to do as a freshman or even a senior. Stay rested. Stay rested. I promise
I see everybody laughing.
You've got a clear head. 8 hours is what they say is recommended to sleep for an average person. 8 hours in a row. In a row. Per day.
Per day.
Okay. Another thing is eat well. Nutrition is vital to thinking. So eat well. Eat a balanced diet. Okay? And the last thing is the same thing I've been talking about. Don't cram. Cramming rarely ever works. Cramming rarely ever works. I've had many students say to me, man, I studied so hard for this test. I studied 4 hours yesterday. It's not impressive. It's not impressive because you're supposed to be studying over the course of the time span in between classes. So that's what you need to do. So, don't look at the last page yet. There's a back page on this, but I don't want you to look at it yet. I want to talk to you about why I have this last page. A lot of times, we see it now. People are trying to change the world. And how are they doing it? They're trying to change other people. That's how they're doing it. But here's the truth. You want to change the world, you got to change yourself first. There's a famous psychology professor named Jordan Peterson out of Toronto. And he says, it's just brilliant. He says, most people think the line between good and evil is between countries and politics. But the real line between good and evil is the line that cuts down the middle of your soul. Ah, so deep. I love it. But what's he trying to say? He's trying to say all of us have all these things within us. Hate, anger, jealousy, arrogance, laziness, stupidity. And we've got to control that beast within us. We've got to do that. And so how do we do that? Deep introspection. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Deep introspection. What does that mean? What does that mean? You know what it means. Tell me what it means. Thinking about what's going on with you. That's another way to understand yourself, is to think about yourself, understand yourself. Why are you making these choices? Why are you doing these things? You've got to think deeply about it. And how do you control these things within you that could be bad or could be bad for you? These things, hate, anger, jealousy, arrogance, all those things. How do you do it? You change the way you think. You change the way you think, it will change you. And what do I mean by that? When you change the way you think, it will change you. What does that mean? Let me tell you a story. When I was in my 20s, early 20s, and everybody here understands this, babies crying. Drives you crazy, right? When I was in my 20s, I hear babies crying in a movie theater or a restaurant or something like, oh my God, babies crying, driving me nuts. Why don't they take the baby home? Blah, 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 blah. So that was my train of thought, right? Then, a few years later, I took an EMT course, emergency medicine course. And what's the first thing they teach you? ABC. What's ABC? Airway, breathing, circulation. So we were on the evolution of babies. And the instructor said, the most beautiful sound you can hear from a baby is crying. Because you know their airway is open and they're breathing. Most beautiful sound you can hear is crying. So after that day, my whole thought process changed. Now when I hear a crying baby, after that day, never bothered me at all. So I hear a crying baby, it's the sweetest sound you can hear because baby's airway's open and it's breathing. So I don't have to do anything. Maybe it's just because I'm lazy and I don't want to do anything. But I know it's fine. Everything's going to be fine. So that's what I mean by changing your thoughts, and it changes who you are. Here's the other thing I want you to think about. Discipline. When we think about discipline, we always think it is the opposite of freedom, right? It is, what's the opposite of freedom? It is regressive. It is regressive. But I want to tell you that it's counterintuitive. The more discipline you have, the more freedom you have. The more freedom you have. If I'm disciplined with my money, I have financial freedom. If I'm disciplined with my exercise, I'm disciplined with my health, I have more freedom to do things physically. I have more freedom. And so I want you to think about discipline in studying. If you're more disciplined in studying, you're going to have more freedom, most importantly, to think deeply, to think on a higher level. So important. And then, if you're disciplined to study, you're going to graduate from college, and you're going to have the freedom, for the most part, to do what you want to do with a career. So discipline, we think, is very regressive, but discipline is freedom. The more discipline you have, the more freedom you have. So that's another thing I want you to change your thinking about. Change your thinking. And so this last part is just a little piece of studying advice on changing your thought process. So if you look at the last page, 15 hours a semester of classes is, we always say, 15 hours of classes, you need 2 hours of studying for every 3 hours of classes, right? every 1 hour of classes, you need 2 hours of outside study. So if you're taking 15 credits a semester, you should be in class and studying for 45 hours a week. Woo! That sounds like a lot. That sounds like a lot. Like, oh my gosh, that's debilitating almost. But I want you to think about it like this. So I kind of wrote this out for you. Here's the reality. If you just go to class and study that 45 hours in a week, not even the weekends, just 45 hours during the week, Monday through Friday, that's 9 hours of classes and studying a day. 8 hours of sleep and 7 hours a day to do whatever you want. If you look at mathematically, 24 hours a day. 9 hours of classes and studying, 8 hours of sleep, 7 hours a day to do whatever you want, plus you have 48 hours on the weekends to do whatever you want. So it's really that much. And I want you to think about it if you do it in a 24-hour week. So if you break the days up by 7 days, 24 hours a day, you've got 6.5 hours of classes and studying a day. 6.5. You've got 8 hours of sleep, and you've got 9.5 hours every single day to do what you want. So I want you to change your thinking that this 45 hours is unattainable. It's actually very simple. It's very simple. 8 hours of sleep plus 9 hours to do whatever you want. That's a lot of time. That's what the amount of studying classes. So, important. Change the way you think, and it will change you. I promise you that. I promise you that. And I'll tell you that EMT example, it changed my whole perspective on how I'm crying babies. It doesn't affect me one bit. I go, oh, nice, every baby's crying. Everything's good. Okay? It changes everything. So change your thinking, change who you are. All right? Any questions? Got any questions for me? What do you got for me? All right, what do you got for me? What's your name? Elise, what do you got for me? Do you want to hear about my summer vacation? All right, that's cool, whatever.
You had a creative factor, and what about the students that work?
That is, I didn't put that in.
That's 7 hours.
I get that. But then maybe 12 hours. 12 hours of classes instead of 15. But that is true. Working is it changes the game, especially if you're working full time. But the point is, we usually have a lot more time, free time, than we think. Usually, okay? But I get what you're saying. What else? What's your name?
Brianne.
What's that?
Brianne.
Rianne? What do you got for me? Do you want to know what my vertical jump is? It's impressive. 4.5 inches. That's pretty good. Isn't it? I don't read books or anything, but I heard it's pretty good.
Tell them a Ronnie story.
No. Anybody else? Anybody got something for me? That's it. All right. Well, good luck, everybody. Oh.
How do you plan your day out and like by the hour, or do you do any planning at all?
I have a calendar in my office that I plan out everything by the hour. I know, lame. But I do, and it's very helpful. It's very helpful to me. If I don't have that calendar, I'm sunk. I'm sunk. But even though I have my calendar planned out from, like today, 8:30 to 6:30, I've got planned out, look how much time I have till tomorrow. I've got from 7 o'clock till 8 in the morning. How many hours is that? My computer. That's how many hours? 7 to 8? 13 hours. I've got 13 hours from now until tomorrow to do what I need to do. It's Netflix. I'm not gonna lie. Netflix. I got Netflix this summer. Best decision. No, I haven't left my house. I'm gonna have to get on antibiotics because I'm getting bed sores from just sitting out. No, I'm just kidding. But that Netflix, ooh, love it. Anybody else? I'm gonna eat pizza, man.
All right. Thank you, Dr.